Well, I need it.
Yes.
How are we doing?
Good evening. Welcome to our press conference ahead of tomorrow night's match. We'll have around 12 minutes with Eddie now, then 12 with Nick Pope, and then if you want to make yourself upstairs for training at 6:30. Sorry? Yes.
I was going to say, keep going.
We'll start with Keith Downey at Sky Sports. Hi, Keith. Just in the middle.
Hi, Eddie. Nice to see you. How are the walking wounded ahead of this one? And I don't mean yourself.
Not too much change, Keith, to be honest. I think we're pretty much as we were, but with a few absentees, obviously, lads that can't play in the Champions League.
Any further update on Joe Willock? I know you said you weren't too sure after the game at the weekend.
Yeah, still unsure. I think he's seeing a specialist tomorrow.
Okay. And no chance of Sean being back involved for this one? Sean Longstaff?
Quite remote as he hasn't travelled, so okay. I doubt it.
How are you coping with that? Because obviously you haven't asked a lot of the players who are playing full 90 minutes. What is the mood around the camp like of those who have been heavily involved over the last couple of weeks? Yeah,
the mood of the group's very good, especially after the result of the weekend. I think that was a pivotal moment for us because, as I said after the game, very easy to feel sorry for yourselves or to focus on the players that aren't with us. The lads did incredibly well to blank that out and just perform at a very high level to win against a very good Chelsea team.
We'll go to Matthew Raisbeck and then Lee Ryder. Matthew?
Hi, Eddie.
Hi,
in Milan and in Dortmund, you didn't train at the stadium the day before the match, but here in Paris tonight you will. So why have you changed it for this one?
Yeah, change of feel. Just a different routine. You never know how these things affect your performances. The results you can never guarantee, but performance, we're looking for an improvement from our 2 away games. So that's why we've done what we've done today.
And after the win over Chelsea, you spoke about Miley and how impressed you were, and he featured towards the end of the match in Dortmund, but I suppose there's a chance he could be involved for longer tomorrow night. How ready is he for that step up if he has to start a Champions League fixture?
Yeah, there's every chance he'll be involved again. I think he's ready. I think he the thing I loved about him after the game, he was just the same Louis. It was as if he hadn't done anything. It was just another game for him, and I think that's how he would need to approach this game. Sometimes the more you build up a game, the worse your performance can be. So he's got a great temperament for these occasions.
Okay, Lee Ryder and then Luke Edwards.
Eddie, there was quite a lot of edge in the first game, and Luis Enrique was quite angry. I don't know exactly why after the game. Obviously got hammered, but Newcastle go into this one. Do you thrive on that sort of danger going into a game like this?
Yeah, I think it's good to have all those mixture of emotions going into a match. I think we need to play on the edge. I think we're at our best. I think every team is at their best when they have that different emotion running through them. So I expect that from the players tomorrow. We're going to need every ounce of motivation, energy to get a result here. This is a defining moment in our Champions League campaign. We're well aware of where we sit in the group and what can happen tomorrow. So we're going to give it everything.
And Mbappe didn't have a great game at St James's Park. Is it asking too much for him to have another off night tomorrow?
It's difficult to talk about their players and their team. They have quality in every position. I think since we've played them, they've scored goals for fun. So we will do our best defensively. I have to say that our structure in the team, our defensive resilience has been good. Probably bar the Bournemouth game, we've been good in that respect, and we're going to need to be every ounce as good as we can be.
Okay, Luke Edwards.
Hi, I don't know if he can hear you speaking now. How important has Nick Pope been for you since he came in? It's over a year ago now, but can you just talk a little bit about what he's brought to the team and the defence?
Yeah, he's been huge for us. He's brought a real confidence, I think, to the back line. We're lucky to have some very good goalkeepers at the football club, and Nick is quite unique with his skill set. I think you could see again from the Chelsea game. So the save he made, I can't remember actually who it was from, but in the first half against Chelsea was an outstanding save, probably under highlighted really even in my own mind until I saw it again, how good that save was. And it's those key moments, it's those big saves that he's made since he's been here that has really elevated us as a team. He's a very calm guy, very popular in the dressing room, a lot of fun to be around. So on and off the pitch, I think he's made a big contribution.
I know it's not your concern, but are you a little bit surprised he's not back involved in the England squad?
Yeah, I've been asked this a lot. I think I can never put myself in Gareth's shoes. I've never walked in those shoes as an international manager, so I can't, and I never will critique his decisions. He knows all about Nick. He knows his qualities. I'm sure he's right in his mind.
Damien Spellman.
Hi, Eddie. Luis Enrique this morning spoke about how impressed he was with the intensity with which he played against Chelsea. Do you have to reproduce that tomorrow night, or do you have to play in a different way here?
I think we need different tools for different games. I think that's been... We sort of had one successful formula. We've had different ways, but one main force or one way of playing that has been a big force for us. But we have tweaked, and from different games, we've had different game plans. Certainly, this is a one-off game for us. So quite how we're going to prepare and what we're going to do, you'll have to wait and see. But I think the hallmark of how we play can never change the fundamentals, but there will be tweaks around the opposition, as there always is.
Just down at the front on the right-hand side.
Hello. I'm Pierre from French newspaper L'Équipe. Just a few words about Anthony Gordon. How can you explain that he's been so good this season compared to his first few months at Newcastle?
Yeah, he has, and he's been in great form for us. When we signed him, we knew we were signing a player of huge potential, real ability, pace, technical ability, and I think the big thing for him recently has been he's been adding goals and assists. So I think when you look at his last game, it's a brilliant goal he scored when he moved to the striker role, and his cross for Jamal Lascelles' goal was, I said it after the game, was probably the key moment, and it was a moment of quality that helped secure us the 3 points. So from my perspective, his work rate off the ball has been at a really high level all through his time here. But we really encourage him to keep adding those valuable goal contributions to us.
Okay. John Murray in the middle here, and then Craig Hope.
Hi, Eddie. When you say this is the defining moment of the Champions League campaign, when you look at the group, when you study it and it's 7-6-5-4, what do you think is the minimum that you need from these final two matches? Or are you thinking you might have to win them both?
Yeah, it is difficult to predict, as you know, John, when you're doing your job, to predict football matches and what the results may be and the permutations of other games. We try not to lose energy doing that. I think from our side, we're prepared to try and win this game. That's all we can do, and then worry about Milan afterwards. We're certainly not in a strong position. We're not in the position that we wanted to be, but we are where we are, and we have to just focus on this game, and I think it's imperative we don't lose.
And how do you think you are coping with it, with the workload that you've had, never having been in this position? There was so much talk about it this season with all of the demands and all of the competitions, and obviously the injuries are what they are, but generally? Generally,
I've said many times, personally, really enjoying everything that's happening this season in terms of the competitions, the build-up to games, the analysing and preparing of games. I'm really enjoying that side of it. The only disappointment is the injuries from our side, because it's taken away our ability to rotate and maybe do a little bit more tactically. It's left us a little bit one-dimensional, but that's where we are. And again, we're trying to concentrate on what we can control and not what we can't.
Okay. Craig Hope and then Simon Bird.
Continuation on the subject of Anthony Gordon. Is he emerging as something of a talisman for you? He's only missed one game this season. Is he becoming your Kylian Mbappe in many ways?
Good headline, Craig, that one. Yeah, well, he's a unique player himself. Yes, I mean, he's played games. He's been robust for us, and that's something we're putting more and more importance on with our players, because players that can continue to play every 2-3 days that's a skill in itself, I think. I think he's done very well physically this year, because the outputs he gives the team are extremely high every week, but he's managing at the moment to recover and then go again. He plays a little bit like you said earlier, sort of on the edge. He's a fierce competitor, and yeah, I'm delighted with his progress this season. He's really come on, and he's become a massive player for us.
And he was up against on Saturday a couple of Chelsea players, similar age, similar profile, who are in the England setup. Anthony isn't. Does that surprise you?
Similar answer to the one I gave earlier. I'm not going to critique Gareth's decisions. Gareth will be watching him. I think his emergence has been quite quick this year. So he's really started his goal contributions and assists, as I said earlier, in the last few months. So I'm sure Gareth will be watching him closely with the summer in mind.
Okay, go Simon, Oscar, and then Martin.
Hi, Eddie. Just back to the reasoning that you're training tonight before the game. Is that a psychological thing as well, just to get a feel of the stadium? Is that kind of element as well? To this?
Yeah, I think some players might look at that and want that or need that or feel they want that. For us also, it gave us a little bit more recovery time at home, so we gave the players a little bit longer with their families this morning and then travelled a bit later. So I think that may be important as well with the schedule we have, just to try and pinch hours at home with their families before we leave.
The other issue that's been building in the last couple of days, you always get great support from the away fans on your travels. Two of the owners tweeted on Saturday night that they wanted the crowd at St James's Park to be louder and that they wanted the crowd to match the intensity of the team, which has created quite a debate amongst the fan base. Do you agree with him?
I think the supporters for me have been incredible, home and away. I thought the Chelsea game, when we scored the goals, was as good as it's been. So I think the owners are always thinking of the team and they're always thinking of the club. And I think since they've come through the door, they've also been equally as magnificent as the supporters. So together, I think we're a strong team.
Oscar?
Eddie, in hindsight, and when you've been looking for the reasons for potentially under-par performances in Milan and Dortmund, do you think it is linked at all to not coming over and training in the stadiums at all?
Personally, no. But there's no harm in ever trying anything different. I'm always open to anything that I think can inspire the players. So just trying a different route in this game.
Martin?
Hi, Eddie. You've said before the fear of failure drives you on. Is the fear of exiting Europe after 5 games, which could happen if you were to lose here, Milan were to win, is that a big motivating factor for you in this?
Yes, fear of failure is a motivating factor for me in my career. The thought of losing doesn't sit comfortably with me. Any game, pre-season friendly, competition, Champions League, everything for me is geared to try and avoid that feeling of losing and the elation of winning. So, of course, that applies to this game. I don't think it's a bigger motivation for me because I feel I'm motivated for every game in the same way.
And as the Newcastle manager, what does it feel like for you arriving at this stadium ahead of such a big game? And what is the hunger like for yourself and the squad?
I don't think as I said, the motivation, hunger could be any bigger for us at the moment. But I include every game in that. The feeling before the Chelsea game was the same. We were desperate to beat Bournemouth the game before that. And there's a real motivation in the squad to make memories and create an incredible season for ourselves this year. And we can still do that in this competition, and it's driving us forward every day.
Simon O'Rourke, last one.
Similar note to that, Eddie. You said before you won't really know what you get from the whole Champions League experience until it comes to an end, whenever that may be. But to be here at a place like this, against a team like this, still in with a chance of getting out of the group, that's a huge thing for the club and for the players and for everyone, isn't it?
Well, it is, and we want to be in it as long as we can. And that makes tomorrow a huge moment in our season. So today we prepare, we try and build our game plan, we try and get ready to execute what we need to do to try and be competitive in the game, and then it's over to the players.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It's a quick 12 minutes.